Welcome back to International Finance. I am Andy Kim, your Dr. Finance, and we are finishing Chapter 7 of Un, Resnick, and Chulun in this video. And remember, in the last video, we were talking the concept, the idea, the duality idea of your call option on currency being the same as put option on the currency from the other currency's perspective, right? From the US person's perspective, right? The right to purchase a fixed amount of euro currency, okay? The asset that you're interested in is euro. The right to buy this guy at a certain fixed price is the same as the right to sell your currency in euro currency, foreign currency. So call option versus put option, they should give you the same price. That's the idea. We've been checking that intuition in this series of slides over here. We stopped at page 8 of this slide, and then we're moving down to page 9. Previously, we figured out the put option value about this, euro versus pound, right? Put option. Now, here, notice that selling Great British Pound at a certain euro price is equivalent to buying euro at a certain British pound price due to the flip side nature of FX transaction. What's the numeraire currency? Yeah. My Siri is surprised as well. Ha, ha, they say. Now, so a put option on selling Great British Pound 8,000 at euro 10,000 is equivalent to a call option of buying 10,000 euro at 8,000 British pounds. So the call option value should be the same as the put option value that we calculated before. Let's check our intuition. Right, let's do it. Step 0, what did I say? Carefully figure out which is the underlying asset and which is the currency to price it. Take a deep breath. Relax. You're gonna do it. No problem. And read the statement carefully again and again and again until you are clear about which currency is your numeraire currency, which currency is your asset that you are interested in. Okay? It said value a call option on 10,000 euro. So 10,000 euro, that is an asset that you are interested in, and you are, with a strike price of 8,000 British pound. So pound is the currency that you are evaluating everything, which means you are a British investor. Fine. So the underlying asset, the currency to price is GBP. So the spot rate of pound per euro, right? 0.8 pound per euro. Fine, because you are taking this British investor's perspective. This is correct. Check your work by finding the value of at the money of one period call option on 10,000 euro with a strike price of 8,000 pound. Spot rate, interest rate of two different currencies, you got it. And forward rate by IRP is given over here based on this calculation. In the next year, there are two possibilities. So 1 euro being 1 pound, or 1 euro being 0.75 pound. Remember, euro value is 0.88 pound today, but here the euro value is going up, their euro value is going down. Upstate and downstate, you can think about it that way. And so the chopstick diagram or binomial, right, tree, you can make it. Is it a tree? Binomial tree? No, this is really a chopstick, okay? So that's that. Now 1 versus 0.75, 0.8. Notice that the strike price happened to be identical to the current spot price, as well as in this problem, which means that the option is at the money, okay, right now. Step 1, calculate the risk neutral probability, right? Q and 1 minus Q. But for that part, you need a forward rate F1 pound to euro that satisfies the IRP. Now you need this diagram, and if you do the math, then you will be able to figure out this forward rate to be 0.88 pound per euro. Now 0.88 pound should be over here, and that 0.88 should be nothing but the probability weighted average of these two upstate and downstate exchange rate or price, right? So probability weighted average of upstate and downstate exchange rate. That has to be the forward rate 1 year from now. Okay. Remember, the forward rate is nothing but the expected spot rate, expected value of the spot rate. Okay. Expected value means probability weighted average. That's why. Now, the only unknown in this equation is Q, again, so the risk neutral probability. Did I say the risk neutral probability? No arbitrage, right? Assumption being applied over here. If you do the math, then it should be 0.52. Okay, 0.52. I'm trying to be like more like French, right? Right. My daughter is learning French, by the way, so I'm having fun a lot over there. Then set up a risk neutral probability Q and 1 minus Q, and so 0.52 and 0.48. Now notice Q and 1 minus Q are different from what you got in the valuation of the equivalent of put option. Right. Now what do you do? We need option value in different states of nature. This is call option. So in upstate, the call option value will be 0.2 because you can your strike price is 0.8, whereas the market price will be 1. So the difference is your difference should be your call option value. In the downstate, the call option value should be 0. Right? 0, because you choose not to exercise that option. All right. So what you do now, it's time to get the expected value of this call option value in time 1 using the probability of up and down. Once you get the expected value of the call option value, then you can safely discount it at risk-free rate of British pound, because you are taking the perspective of British investors. I should have said call option here instead of put. All right. Now what? Then you will get, if you do the math, the call option value will be nothing but 0.09004 pound per euro. Yes, notice we have 10,000 euro as underlying asset. So the whole call option value will be multiplying this guy by 10,000 euro. That's 900.43 British pound. If you want to obtain the value of call option in terms of euro, then divide by 0.8, 1125.71 euro. Don't ask me to read it in French, right? Reading numbers in French is like lifetime challenge for me. I may try to learn French more. If you ask me to read it in Deutsche, right? German, 1125 point. I don't know how to say point in German. 7.1, right? That's easy. I may try to read it in Spanish later, but yeah. Anyway, things to be careful about. Convert future value from the currency to another using forward exchange rates, right? Convert present values using spot exchange rates, discount future values to present values using the correct interest rate, right? So I sub dollar should be discount dollar amount, and then I of euro, right? Interest rate, right? For example. To find the risk-neutral probability, set the forward price derived from IRP equal to the expected value of the payoffs calculated using Q and solve for Q. To find the option value, discount the expected value of the option payoffs calculated using the risk-neutral probabilities at the correct risk-free rate. Correct risk-free rate, yes. So here is the Nobel Prize winning Black-Scholes formula, right? By Black-Scholes and Merton, right? Don't get scared, right? You may think like, oh, the black thing over here is the background, and then the white thing are the characters. What the heck is going on? I don't know. Let's just forget about it. No, stop there. Take a deep breath, relax. You're gonna be just fine, okay? I'm not going to ask you how to derive this thing. Deriving this formula requires you to study 2 more years of mathematics intensively, and then PhD in finance. When I was in the PhD program, my qualifying exam was how to derive this thing and then manipulate a little more on this. And then finance PhD guys, you had to do this, right? Or financial mathematics masters or financial engineering master's degree. That's about this one, okay? Do you need to do all these things and spend 2 more years in school? The answer is no. My friends, right, in major banks in Korea as well as in other places and globally, they don't have master's degree or PhD degree in financial engineering. Still, they work as a derivatives trader, 파생상품 traders, right? And then they earn millions of dollars. So don't worry about it, right? Just you need to, first of all, get the intuition right. And number 2, self-study, okay? Not getting a degree does not mean that you don't have to study at all. From now on, it's all about self-studying yourself, educating yourself, right? You just have to enjoy it, right? 피할 수 없으면 즐겨라. It's like if you cannot avoid it, just enjoy it, right? And then let's see. And then here, the call option pricing, we're going to start discussion, right? Remember the call option, right? What we did was binomial option pricing before, right? The chopstick thing. There we had to create a replicating portfolio. Remember? Yeah, there was a long-short position to replicate the payoff somehow, and then making the risk-free return. Okay, making some risk-free return going into the future. And there we had to consider what? The option delta or hedge ratio. Okay, hedge ratio. And that hedge ratio thing is this kind of guys. You can think of it that way. And then there was a long position on your underlying asset of the stock, or in this case FX, right? Long position, this is positive, and short position, this is negative. Long short. And then minus takes care of that one. How much do you take a short position? As much as the exercise price is worth, right? And then there's normal distribution. We're going to get there a little later. Here, remember, it was a maximum function of what? At the end of maturity, big T. Always this engineering guys, right? At the end of the day, right? The maturity is represented with big T. And then the maximum of S minus E, right? Or 0. Okay? It was a right. Call option is a right, whether to exercise it or not. You exercise it when it is advantageous to you. You choose not to exercise if it is not advantageous to you. So that, right, is a maximum function, and it involves, naturally, the probabilistic sense of it, right? There is a randomness going on. You may end up advantageous, you may end up the other way, okay? So what's the chance of going in there? That part is taken care of by these 2 sets of normal distribution CDF, cumulative distribution function, okay? And then at some point you had to discount it at risk-free rate. Okay, risk-free rate, in this case, the risk-free rate of your domestic currency, which is e to the power of R minus R in US dollars, right? And then big T is always the, periodic, right? The time period, just to represent that one, okay? And then here you see this part, R to the power of foreign currency's interest rate. What the heck is going on, you may say? But this one is really about the dividend yield. We borrow, okay? Call option pricing or put option pricing in FX. We interpret FX as a dividend paying stock. Dividend paying stock. And then what the heck is that? Dividend payment, right? So dividend yield, right, will eat up your risk-free return, okay? So that's why we have this R to the power of, the dividend yield equivalent over there in this formula. And the idea is that you are US investors, let's say, right? And then you are considering whether to, the option on the European Euro currency call option, Euro currency FX call option. There, right, Euro currency is a dividend paying stock to you. Okay, Euro currency itself is a dividend paying stock from the perspective of US investors. And then what is that dividend? Well, as you put your money into Euro, let's say Deutsche Bundesbank or ECB's treasury, ECB treasury, you put your money over there and then you expect some yield or interest from that Euro treasury, right? Put your money there, treasury over there will give you some interest. That yield on that investment should be none other than the dividend that you expect, okay? Equivalent to the dividend, right? So that dividend yield, right, should be incorporated in this formula. That's what's going on over here. All right, so that's a basic intuition. And then put option is the other way around. It was a maximum, again, maximum of E minus S sub T, right? Big T and 0. So E is over here minus, and then S sub big T is over there, right? It's not precisely S sub big T over here, but it's, you can see it's based on today's spot rate, and it's, discounting somehow, some kind of a discounting is going on, and then it's not specifically E itself, there is some random nature going on over there like that, right? Some discounting is going on as well. Yeah, so that's that. And then D1 and D2, no need to worry about, how to, where does this come from? But the problem will give you information necessary to punch in over here. So just take a deep breath and make sure you do the calculation right. And then know where to put in those figures, right? And then the order of calculation has to be correct. Whatever is inside the parentheses, do it first and then calculate the next, right? And then, as opposed to call option and put option on the stocks, right? I give you one more formula over here, which is IRP, interest rate parity relations in continuous time framework, okay? F sub big T, so that's the forward rate at the end of maturity. And then S sub 0, this one is spot rate of today. And then E to the power of something is going on that I'm going to discuss in the next slide. Okay, so let's go over here. Okay, I said F sub big T is this guy, this ugly term. Okay, let me change the color, right? Notice that this guy, okay, should be this fraction like this. E to the power of R of dollar, big T, over E to the power of R of euro currency over big T. Okay, spot rate, forward rate. So this guy, actually the numerator is equivalent to this guy in equivalent in continuous time over here. Every second you're compounding your interest, right? Over here in the left hand side. Right hand side is more discrete time, okay? Compounding going on over t period. Okay, so that's the numerator. Now what about the denominator? This guy is equivalent to this guy, 1 plus r sub euro, right? And then to the power of big T. Okay, you see that. So equivalence relation going on. It is none other than the IRP relation, right? Forward rate. So starting from the original call option formula over here, we can summarize this. We can stick in the forward rate into this formula. Okay, how do we do that? We're going to get here. Forward rate gets in, and then we want to get to this nice discounting at your domestic currency's risk-free rate in continuous time sense discounting. Okay, and then if you remember risk neutral pricing, okay, risk neutral pricing, you have to discount it at the risk-free rate, right? That's what's going on over here. And then the forward rate and then exercise price, right? You just subtract it out of it. And then normal distribution you stick in, okay? But how do we derive all those things? Just once in your lifetime, okay? So start from this, and then here what do? I do just mathematician's favorite technique, which is adding and subtracting the same number at the exponent over here. Okay, starting from e to the power of minus euro rate, I add and subtract the same thing, which is US risk-free rate. I did nothing. Okay, it's just adding and subtracting the same thing, 0. Okay, but why do I do that? Because I want to take out, okay, first of all, I want to take out this e to the power of minus r of US dollar, because this is going to be commonly shown in both terms, so that gathered together like terms, I can use a square bracket and then take out this guy as a discounting at US domestic risk-free rate. Okay, discounting at domestic risk-free rate. And then the remaining part naturally, okay, goes naturally builds up in such a way that it is equivalent, it makes it equivalent to the formula for dividend paying stocks call option value. Dividend paying stocks call option value, you start with the risk-free rate minus dividend yield, goes on. Okay, so for that part I was doing that, right? And then for that I just have to move this guy to the other to in front, and then this guy goes to the next. That's how it works. And then parentheses like this. Now you see this math going on. Okay, yeah, so the call option value, okay, depends on your forward rate as well as, you know, other discounting going on. That's what you can infer from this one. And then now here I do the same for put option on FX, right? The forward IRP relation goes on over here. That's key, right, in this. And then let me change the color, right? Put option, right, should be, if you do the same for the second part, okay, where you use this foreign currencies interest rate, okay, over here, you just add and subtract the same thing, which is your domestic currencies risk-free rate, and then take out this guy, okay, take out this guy like this, because you want to gather together like terms later on, okay, and then the remaining part, okay, becomes this guy. And this is exactly the same as what is used inside the call option, put option on dividend paying stocks, right? So like risk-free rate minus dividend yield is going on over here. Okay, now this guy, okay, is identical to that guy, so we just replace it right? The formula for put option, okay, you can represent the put option formula using forward rate as well, just like what you did in your call option formula, okay? And then risk neutral pricing, you have to discount that, you know, risk free rate in your domestic currency. That's what's going on over here in continuous time idea, okay? Now, getting back to our original call option formula in 2 slides ago, over here, right? 2 slides ago. What is important is the intuition behind how does this option value change as some of these inputs change, i.e. the first derivatives of, or second derivative later on, if you go for more advanced studies, right? But first derivative with respect to a certain variable, okay? For example, what's the call option value change when the underlying asset value change, right? Call option value change when the underlying asset value change today. Spot rate changes. How much does it affect call option value? That's the first derivative of call option with respect to S0, right? So the first term, you have a coefficient over here, this huge ugly term, right? Second term, there's no S0, so it goes away, okay? So this guy turns out to be this, okay? This one is not what we call an option delta, right? Option delta, the hedge ratio. I told you before in the binomial option pricing. This is continuous option pricing, a continuous time framework of, you know, understanding it, right? So higher as this guy, I mean, this is positive first of all, right? E to the power of something is always positive, okay? And then this is cumulative, what's it, CDF of normal distribution. By definition, it has to be positive. So it is positive, which means as the stock price increases, your call option value increases together with it. You remember this hockey stick function? The call option value, right? At the end of the maturity, it's like a 45 degrees line hockey stick like this. But before maturity, how does it look like? Well, it should look like smooth pasting function like this, smooth like this, right? Over here, this deep out of money call option, but it is still positive, slightly positive before maturity. Why? Because there is an uncertainty, okay? God knows when, right? God knows what. At the end of maturity, you may end up in the money. There is a slight chance of doing that, right? So that's why the call option value today is always slightly positive, never zero, okay? Life is like a call option, okay? People say, don't kill yourself, you know, God knows what, right? In the end, 지구멍에도 볕들 나온다. It's like just have a hope, right? There's a chance that you will do something. Yeah, so that's what it is about, right? Is positive with respect to underlying asset value. And then, what is it? The other aspect of it, the sigma, right? More uncertainty that you have, okay? As opposed to less uncertainty that you have. Right? Which one will be more likely to end up in the money? Blue ones or red ones? The red ones, you have higher chance of getting into in the money at the end of maturity. You see what I'm saying? If the underlying asset, like foreign currency or stock, right? The underlying asset value is very volatile, like crazy, then there is a high chance that you can end up in the money at the end of maturity, big T. Okay, whereas if your underlying asset is like blue, and then you are out of the money like this, there is less of a chance that you may end up in the money, so that the option value will be a lot smaller, like this. Okay, so your call option value, okay, option value will be, okay, bigger if the risk is higher. Okay, the call option value as the risk changes, this is positive. Okay, this is positive. Yeah, I should do it like this, right? Right. And then what else do you have? Time to maturity, the big T, right, over here. Okay. I don't ask you to take the derivative with respect to what's this? With respect to T, right? We call it theta. Or that guy, and theta. Okay. Over here, as you have more time, longer time to wait, there is a higher chance that you may end up in the money, right? Shorter waiting period, like the call option matures tomorrow, okay, and then you are standing over here, okay, and then tomorrow it's going to finish. Then how much is it likely to end up in the money? Not much, even if your stock is very volatile, right? But if you are far away from maturity, I mean, think of it as like a 3D graph over here, right? 3D graph. And then you have a longer period to mature. Then you, God knows what, right? You may, end up in the money or like this, right? So longer time to wait, you have more option value, okay? Is positive, let's say. So time is your friend and risk is your friend if you're option traders, right? Put option the same way, right? Same intuition. The only thing is put option case, the option delta is negative because you have positive thing over here and minus over there. So that's the intuition behind it. All right. And then the strike price, right? The strike price. If the strike price itself, okay, is very, very high, your option value will be very, very low because it is minus over here, right? Put option is the other way around. If the strike price is really, really high, then your put option value will be really, really high too. Okay, so that's another piece that you have to consider. Anyway, so that's basically it. When you look at the option value, option pricing formula, the intuition, right? As the underlying asset value goes up, how does it affect? Does it affect the call option value and put option value? How is it related to risk and things like that? Those are the key intuition you want to carry throughout your life. Now, all you have to do is, given that you have those formulas for you, you have to punch in, okay? But you have to punch in the right number into the right place. That is challenging. Now use European option pricing formula to find the value of a 6-month call option on Japanese yen. The strike price is $1 is should be 100 Japanese yen. Okay. はじめまして。ありがとうございます. And then volatility is 25% per annum. And then US interest rate, instead of I'm using R over here. Yeah, you can switch it into R, who cares? 5.5%, and then the Japanese yen-based interest rate, 6%. And then the big F value, based on the formula before, it should be like this, and stick in the numbers, and then you will get this. And then D1, D2, you have to compute using the information given. So if you do the math, you will be able to figure out this ones, right? You punch in. And what? Once you have all these ugly numbers over there, then stick it into call option formula like this, right? This formula, it seems a bit different from what you gave me previously in the previous slide, but if you do the math arithmetically, you will realize it's the same, okay? But it's open book, open note, everything exam. So you just have this one or that one, it doesn't matter. You should be able to move around, right? Basically, this one comes from your textbook example. But anyway, so if you do the math, you will be able to figure out that the call option value is 0.006137 dollars per yen, okay? So that's that. Now, yeah, summaries are shown up in the rest of the slides. Just the self-explanatory. You can go ahead and read it.